The senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, wants these strikes extended to places like Sambisa, Lake Chad, and what have you. Militarily, would airstrikes alone make a decisive difference in the Northeast? Compliments of the season, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Headlines. Nigeria's war on terror has entered a new and controversial phase. On Christmas Day, joint Nigeria-United States airstrikes hit suspected ISIS-linked camps in Sokoto, following intelligence shared by Nigerian authorities and executed by U.S. Africa Command. Now, the strikes reportedly killed multiple terrorists, but they also reignited global debate about sovereignty, foreign military involvement, and how Nigeria's security crisis is framed abroad. Even more explosive was a post by U.S. President Donald Trump celebrating the strikes while making no reference to Nigeria's cooperation and repeating claims of Christian genocide that Nigerian officials insist are false. At home, Senator Ali Ndume is now asking President Tinubu to expand these joint operations to the northeast Sambisa, Lake Chad, and the Mandara Mountains, long-standing strongholds of Boko Haram and ISWAP. So what really happened in Sokoto? What does this mean for Nigeria's counter-terrorism strategy? And is the global narrative helping or hurting the country's security objectives? Let's begin with security expert Oyekachi Adekoya, who joins me virtually on the program this evening. Mr. Adekoya, compliments of the season to you. Thank you for joining us again. President Trump acknowledged the strike, but if you look at his message on social media, he ignored Nigeria's cooperation and repeated claims of attacks on Christians. How damaging is this narrative to Nigeria's counter-terrorism credibility?
I think we're all used to President Trump and his antics for now, so I don't think it makes much of a difference. So you want to look at the statement from the Texas, and you want to look at the statements from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and weigh that government-to-government communication as what it should be. President Trump has his domestic audience to handle. So I don't think we should read much into. Unfortunately, it is what it is. You can't read too much into his statements, but you need to look at actions on the ground and what it is translating to. So I think that's what we want to focus on, not on the statement of President Trump as President Trump, but you want to look at the statements of the American government and that of the Nigerian government, and then weigh the direction of things on the ground. That would be my assessment.
I'm sure you've also heard critics say foreign airstrikes on Nigerian soil raise sovereignty concerns. From your experience, where's the line between strategic partnership and overreach?
Well, to wit that you can have cooperation and collaboration and coordination of the effort amongst nations. In the twin hours of the 9/11 attacks, we saw the American government galvanize relationships. Even though the attacks happened in country, they had to respond out country. It didn't diminish the U.S. in any shape or form, though it had suffered some kind of attack. So you want to look at the international laws and diplomacy and the realm of collaboration. There's nothing out of the ordinary. However, it doesn't do our reputation too good on the African continent if we say we're the giants of Africa and we cannot mop up issues at home. It does, however, highlight the need for the modernization of our fighting force and the onshoring of our own defense capability and the creation of a local defense industry that can meet our local needs and project our national interests, whether it be on the African continent or outside the African shores. I think the conversation should be pointing towards there, to be saying, what are the lessons we can learn from finding ourselves here? We didn't just show up here. It's over the years, successive military rule, the degrading systemically of the Air Force, the Navy, our air assets, naval platforms. So a lot of conversations we should be having now introspectively and then looking forward. So I think those are the issues we want to focus on.
The senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, wants these strikes extended to places like Sambisa, Lake Chad, and what have you. Militarily, would airstrikes alone make a decisive difference in the Northeast?
It will not, Nifemi, but it will do significant damage. It will significantly degrade the fighting capability of the insurgents. If done correctly, it will sever their communication lines and then impair on their effectiveness. Remember that boots on the ground is not the problem that the Nigerian government has, or the Nigerian fighting force has. What we've had over the years is the lack of sustained ISR. And in modern day war fighting, there's no need going around the bush. Drone surveillance, persistent aerial surveillance, and importantly, reconnaissance attack, the ability to strike at a target opportunity when that opportunity presents itself instantly, and even going into the realms of combined arms warfare. So Nigeria is not yet there. And sadly, we have the federal colleges of technology, universities of technology, technical colleges, and we're not producing squads. It doesn't take so much to achieve ISR saturation. So what we lack and what the Americans have bring to the party is persistent surveillance, providing pinpoint information, sharing those, and then coordinating strikes. Nifemi, the bigger problem is that over the last 15, 20 years, we've procured weapons from the Americans, and we've been asking for the permission to fire some of those munitions in the Northwest. The Americans give us these weapons with a limit when we can fire, how we can fire. And even when we call for rearmament, there's also conversations under the constraints of the ley law. So there are a number of issues. Like I said in my opening statement, we didn't find ourselves here by error. It's by years of neglect. In 1986, 85 about, Nigeria produced over 60 Air-B-2 aircraft. We were poised to become an aviation powerhouse in Africa. Some of those aeronautical engineers are still there. Some of them are working with foreign national governments, even some in the US. We even have Nigerians supporting the US missile systems or missile defense systems. So it is not a lack of talent, it's a lack of coordination and deliberate national security planning. So what the Americans will bring to the fight for us at this stage is the platforms that we need to conduct surgical pinpoint accurate strike while our soldiers going to do either blocking operations or mop-up operations. I think that's where the collaboration will help us. It doesn't change anything to our fighting force.
Well, the Senate also went ahead to call for intelligence sharing, logistics training, and attack helicopters. And there are conversations as to whether or not all of this in time will shift the balance on the ground. And the big question on whether Nigeria is winning the security fight but losing the information war internationally.